Hey guys, today we're going to be going back and revisiting the NECA Toys A Nightmare on Elm Street Series 4, Freddy's Dead, Powerglove Freddy. Powerglove Freddy I did way back in September 22nd, 2013, so about a 4-year gap between that video and this revisit here. Let's get some size going for Freddy Krueger. He stands at a little over 7 inches tall, about give or take about 7 inches tall. Of course, if he was wearing his fedora, that would top past the 7 inches, but for the time being, he's about 7 inches in height. Speaking of fedora, it almost slipped away from me, his one accessory is his fedora. That's all he gets. Could have come with some other things as well, but unfortunately only comes with its fedora. It is to note, though, as well, that this fedora is one of the more denser feeling plastic fedoras that we've gotten with the other Freddy Kruegers. Generally, like these ones, they're generally a soft plastic. This one, though, is very, very dense. There's very little give to be said for this particular one. And much like the shoes, which we look at in a second, this one of the more lighter colored hats that he comes with as well. Gets a little bit of shading, but for the most part relies only on a very light brown to get the point across. You can take it, of course, you can fit it onto his head. The laughable, comical state of Freddy Krueger, you can kind of have the fedora slightly to the side and slightly down, so to speak. Again, it looks a little ridiculous, but I mean, I think a lot of it is more so for the face sculpt. Not only is this one of my least favorite Freddy Kruegers, but it's also one of my least favorite Nightmare on Elm Streets as well. Freddy's Dead, I would still put one notch up from New Nightmare, in all honesty. I still don't like New Nightmare. I know so many people say it's a masterpiece, it's artistic, it had different aspects to it, of course, thinking outside into the real world. I still don't like New Nightmare. It's my least favorite Freddy Krueger movie. But I think the one I would say right after that is Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead, not one of my personal favorites. About the only thing that is notable about Freddy's Dead, of course, in the title, Freddy's Dead, it's debatable, but also some of the deaths were very interesting in that particular movie. More importantly, nice hearing from you, Carlos. Of course, Carlos with his hearing aid and his ear exploding and stuff. That was fun, but for the most part, not one of my favorite Freddy Krueger's movies at all. Not even in the slightest. Anyways, let's have a look at his face, which, once again, NECA does deliver a good face sculpt for an otherwise comical-looking portrayal of Freddy Krueger. Now, this one is very scene-specific, of course, because he's got his power glove hand, which we'll look at in a second. So kind of based on that, his face sculpt is that of utmost glee. Freddy is enjoying toying with the teen, playing with his power glove here. And again, like it looks okay. To its credit, it is a different head sculpt than one we would normally get with Freddy Krueger. It's not a big, glaring kind of grimaced smile on his face. Instead, he's got a very happy, smiling face, which is not something you tend to see much from Freddy Krueger. So, to the credit of NECA, the face sculpt is good for an otherwise laughable-looking facial expression. Literally, Freddy is about to let out a good guffaw. The little reds and the tears and the burns and stuff are still nicely done, but I found that Freddy's Dead's makeup was one of the more relaxed makeup applications for Freddy Krueger. Least of my favorites. I would almost even say New Nightmare is my least favorite makeup. Congratulations, New Nightmare Freddy. Not only are you my least favorite makeup, you're also my least favorite movie. But again, like, head sculpt looks pretty good for what it is. I do like, again, I love the sheen on it that even some of the Ultimate Freddy figures didn't have. So I wish they kind of could go back and give us this little more of a wet, slicked look over top of the plastic. Face sculpt, it's not great, but based on its source material, which is really where it's the cutting off line for me. I don't like the source material, but I think the head sculpt is superb based on the very poor source material. Anyways, for the rest of the figure, it's pretty much what you've seen before with Freddy Krueger. You kind of get here again. The torso and arms are reused, obviously, from other Freddy Kruegers. I feel like even the texturing of the sweater is a carryover from Dream Warriors Freddy. And the only thing they've really done is slightly change the color a little bit. And, of course, incorporated the Power Glove. Now he's playing with power. The glove itself is a really cool nod. Apparently, they did not get Nintendo's permission, but they just said, you know what, we'll do it anyways. We'll try it. You know, who cares? Who cares? And I think I do recall it even boosted sales for the Power Glove. Something that really needed sales boosted. I was one of those suckers. I bought a Power Glove. That Power Glove sat in my house for a good 20 minutes before I realized what a waste of money. That was hard-earned money that I had as a child. Raised, earned, worked my butt off to get that money, and I bought myself a really crappy Power Glove. It went back to the store, lickety-split. But the Power Glove here on Freddy looks very, very cool. Of course, making use of the regular Freddy glove, and then you've got the little nods here to the Nintendo Power Glove. Of course, here you've got a joystick, unlike the Power Glove, which had a little game pad, a little D-pad. Got some buttons and got some knobs, and again, looks quite good. Now, theoretically, I suppose you could take the whole glove off. I don't really know why you would want to. Take the whole glove off and just replace it with a Freddy glove. I mean, there's enough Freddys out there that this is so unique. Obviously, I would just keep this on Freddy myself, but I suppose you could do that if you so wish. Nice sculpting there. Longer glove, of course, making use of the fact that it's got the additional knobs and stuff like that as well. But the rest of the figure, as mentioned, is pretty much tried and true. Like, there's not really much that's different here from, say, regular Freddy's. And there's the back of it right there, still having that little hole at the back of his sweater. Texturing on his sweater is quite nice. That is still a consistent trend. Little tears and rips at the bottom of his sweater. Very old, aged looking sweater. And rips also in the sleeve. Again, everything comes together quite nicely. You don't really get much the read of scarring here on his hand. You get the texturing there, but they've just kind of painted it over in one coat of paint. It almost kind of looks like he faux tanned. The outside looks faux tan. The inside looks lighter. The legs, nothing too much different about those. One drastic change is that this is one of the few Freddy figures that have brown shoes. Most of them do have kind of off gray or borderline dark gray black boots. Here, on the other hand, Freddy's got very light colored shoes, almost about the same color as his fedora, maybe just a tad lighter. The rivets on his laces, I don't know if that's the actual name for them, but they're painted in silver, and you've got the under tread here painted in black. Posability on this guy, his head rotates left and right, up and down. He's got that ball joint going there. Still has the universal joints on the arms, so you can move the arms outward, rotate them all the way around. He's got the bend in the elbow. Of course, it helps to find the hinge. The hinge is right there, so that's where you can bend the forearm. Rotate the arm left and right. He's also got the rotation in the hand, which basically it's just a peg. The peg sits out, it's a ball joint, so the hands not only can rotate, but you can also hinge them back and forth. Upper torso has the ball joint going as well, and the same thing can be said also for the feet. Left and right, up and down, and you get your ankle pivot there as well. One can certainly appreciate the uniqueness that Powerglove Freddy brings to the table. Not only do you get yourself the classic Power Glove represented here on Freddy's arm, but you also get yourself a very unique, more playful looking Freddy in his face sculpt. The rest of the Freddy figure really is, you know, the ever traditional go-to for Freddy torso and legs. There's not really much different to that. So really his differences rely on his hand and of course in the head sculpt. Still don't like the source material. I don't like Freddy's Dead in all honesty as the Nightmare on Elm Street movies go. It's one of my least favorites, as I mentioned frequently over the course of this review. And I don't really like the design of Freddy in that movie either, but I have to still step back and realize, even though I don't like the source material, NECA still delivered a really great looking figure here with the Powerglove Freddy. Much kind of like the Dream Warriors Freddy, I don't necessarily know whether, or I should say the Dream Master Freddy that had all the arms extending outward, I don't really know if NECA would ever entertain the idea of giving us this guy again in an ultimate treatment. Sure, of course, most of the torso and the legs are just a go-to anyways. There's not really much that they would have to change to it. that I guess theoretically it would make a more logical sense that they could release this guy as an Ultimate, because there's very little that they have to change to it. Really just the head and the arm is about the only thing that would make this guy different than a regular Freddy Krueger figure. So maybe we may get this guy in figure form. It would be awesome if we can get Carlos's hearing aid along with him as some of the possible accessories that an Ultimate Powerglove Freddy could come with. Either way, I'm still on the fence as to how I feel about this figure. The sculpt is great, but I just really don't like this design of Freddy in all honesty. Today, once again, we were going back and revisiting the NECA toys. This was A Nightmare on Elm Street part, well, it's Freddy's Dead, which I guess would be part 6. A Nightmare on Elm Street 6, Freddy's Dead, the final chapter. And today we were having a look at Freddy Krueger. More importantly, this was the Powerglove Freddy. If you guys like this video, certainly hit it with a like if you want to see more videos just like this. I've got a playlist on the channel specifically for Freddy Kruegers that you can go back and have a look at basically every single Freddy Krueger I've ever done on this channel. Newcomers also to this channel, hi, hello, come on in. There's a little subscribe button down below, so if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe and hit that little subscribe button down below, go ahead and hit it, and you'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos on this channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching, as you always do. I'll see you next time.